to introduce some of the main characters in our story of the U.S. Constitution. We're going to focus on five guys. Hope they're not going to sue me for using that. So here, this painting has a lot of people in it. These guys all gather in that same place as the Declaration had been signed and discussed. This time they're trying to improve the U.S. government because of all the problems that you should know about by now. We call this the Philadelphia Convention. Convention is just another word for meeting, happening in 1787. They're there for 4 months. They don't know it's going to take that long. And another number, you got 53 white men here. Yeah, all white men. Only some of them are wearing wigs this time, though. And again, we're going to focus on 5 guys. So, first one we should start with, if we move the painting over there, is this guy here. You know him. You'll love him. He's George Washington. We're going to call him the respected leader. I've got a nickname for all of them here. There's another painting of him around the same time period. So he's the president, and we've looked before about what a president does. They're just chosen by the group to kind of run the meeting, but nobody messes. Nobody disrespects G-dubs here. Nobody would dare. I mean, look at that look there. You tick him off and he glares at you like that, and he's like 6'2". He's the hero of the Revolutionary War. Nuh-uh. No one's going to do that. Now, he's doing this meeting because he wants a stronger U.S. government. He is so ticked off. He's furious about all these problems, especially the state versus state conflicts. I mean, what was the point of fighting this war against Britain if the states are all going to be fighting against each other or letting themselves be open to getting invaded again by the British? So he's here to try to make sure that doesn't happen, because right now it looks like that might happen. He only actually makes one suggestion, and they don't even actually follow it. He's not an ideas guy. That's not George Washington. The ideas guy is sitting right up there, and his name, you may not know him. His name is James Madison. Many years later, he's going to become president, but right now he's, there's another picture of him there. He's a younger kind of guy, much smaller and physically than George Washington, but in another way, he's really the kind of the leader of this thing, sort of behind the scenes. Again, more with ideas. Really shy, sort of doesn't want to get up and talk a whole lot, but he does a lot of writing and a lot of the draft. Not as much as Thomas Jefferson does with the Declaration of Independence. And I should say also, this is a much longer document, the Constitution. But James Madison writes a lot of it. He'd come up with a lot of this. He also wants a much stronger U.S. government. He has been in that Congress. He has suffered through it. He sees how bad things are getting, and he wants them to get fixed. Next one, this guy, this classy guy up here, he's the style man. His name is Gouverneur. There's no way to say it really better than that. Gouverneur Morris. And he's the style guy. So he's not about ideas. He's not really leading things. He's the one who polishes the final draft. A lot of the phrases and things that are in it, especially the famous part, that we the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union, blah, 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 the first paragraph. It was written very differently before, but he classes it up. Another thing you should know about him and a couple of other men here, he's really a strong anti-slavery voice. Not everybody was pro-slavery. He's from New York State. No, he's from Pennsylvania. Why did I say New York? I was thinking of somebody else. There are a lot of stories about him. Here's a picture of him. There are a lot of stories about that leg, how he lost that leg, and maybe I'll say more about that in class if you ask me nicely. All right, who's our next one here? There he is, Alexander Hamilton. He's the hype man, is my nickname for him. He's the one from New York. There we go. Look at that smug kind of face there. So, in case you didn't know, Alexander Hamilton was white. Okay. Now, he's not known for ideas that are in the Constitution. He actually says a lot of things that, again, if you ask me nicely, I might tell you in class. But he says some stuff that's probably good that it's not in there. His main thing is he's taking in a lot of info during the debates, and then he advertises the heck out of it, really talks it up to people who maybe weren't sure what was in this Constitution. So that's really his main role. Like I said, he's the one from New York, not the other guy. And he's the only one who actually signs it from New York. So they start with 53 men in that picture there, but not all of them sign it. But the other guys from New York actually leave because they think it's going to be too strong for the US government. And if you've been keeping count, you know we've got one left. And it's George Mason, the skeptic. He's the one who's skeptical, who's not so sure. Where's George Mason? Wait. Oh, right. He didn't sign it either. He leaves before. So where we got a picture? There he is. There's George there. He's from Virginia, along with Madison and Washington. So he left, and so there are 14 men who actually end up leaving because they don't like what this Constitution is going to be. They think it's going too far. They think it's giving too much power to the U.S. government and taking too much away from the states. And he makes a long list of complaints, things that he thinks are problems with it. And some of those complaints, show you here, right? Some of these, I'll let you read them for yourselves, but some of these are still complaints. In some ways, he actually turned out to be kind of right, or at least not totally wrong about some of the stuff that he was afraid of, as we may have seen in recent history. So those are our 5 guys, ending with that guy there. Go back to our opening there. Again, we had these guys who've gathered to fix the U.S. Government. They end up coming up with a new constitution, and out of those 53 white men, there are 5 guys that I want to make sure that you know some stuff about.